mystery friends. Welcome to the Raven Remix launch party. Woo! I'm so happy you're here. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to do some excerpt reading from the box set, which is the book. So here's a proof of the book. So it's got the first 3 penny stories, which is book 1, book 1.5, and 2 in it. It's super cute. We're going to read excerpts from all 3 of those tonight. And we're also going to do what I'm going to do with the help of my husband, Steven, a coffee blind taste test. I've got 4 coffees waiting to be tasted to see which one is my favorite. That is going to be super fun for me because I really, really, really like coffee. But before we get totally into everything, I'm going to let the announcements go out on all the little channels to tell everybody I'm live and give them a second to get here. And I'm going to tell you about some of the giveaways that are going to be happening tonight. If you're live, you're going to have a chance to get an ebook. I'm going to have little games we're going to play. And the first person I see answer is the person who's going to win. Just know that I'm streaming on 3 different platforms. So you might have answered first, but it doesn't mean I saw you first. So we just have to play it that way because I don't have a timestamp to tell who does what. The other thing is in the pinned comment on YouTube, there is a scavenger hunt. And this is for anybody. We have a whole week to complete the scavenger hunt. And the winner of the scavenger hunt will get a signed hardback of this book, plus a copy or a bag or whatever of the coffee that I choose as my favorite for 2022. So you're going to get a good read and a coffee. So that's pretty cool. So go ahead and click that link even as we're talking and start looking at the scavenger hunt. The winner for the scavenger hunt will be picked randomly from people who answer and will be announced and informed on the 22nd. So you've got a while. If you're watching the replay, jump in, do the scavenger hunt. Who knows? You might be the one who wins the hardback and the coffee. Okay, I've got some notes down here because I'll just trail off if I don't take notes and do all this kind of, housekeeping things because I get too excited. So in my very first penny mystery, Penny Nichols is a girl who spots omens of death. So she sees death coming 24 hours ahead of time. And this gift of hers makes her move from town to town because if you could imagine having such a gift, you're not the most popular person in the world. And she also feels very responsible for every death that happens around her. So she moves a lot. And in book 1 of the series, she is actually working at a gift shop / coffee roaster place. And when I was writing this book, I had to teach myself how to roast coffee beans, which is why we're having this coffee tasting thing, because it's something Penny would totally do. She loves her coffee above all else. She insists ever since book 1 on roasting her own coffee beans, grinding them up, and putting them in a French press for her friends. So to honor Penny and a Raven Remix, we're going to do a coffee tasting. And I think my husband's going to go get my coffees ready for me. I made the coffee because in our house, and he'll say this too, I'm the best coffee maker in our house. And I also know how I prepare each one. So I prepared it the way that was my favorite. I'm going to be drinking them black. And then I'm going to rate them from 1 to 4. 1 being the best, 4 being my least favorite. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it's just my least favorite. And to figure out which one I chose, you are going to have to wait to the very end. But I'm also going to introduce you to all these coffees as we go along. Okay, so are you ready? So here's my first coffee, which this is so much fun for me. I got to make sure it's not going to burn my face off. That one is a dark. Yeah, it's a dark roast. It's pretty good. I could drink that one. I could drink that one in the morning for sure. It wouldn't be probably the one I would choose to sit and hang out with somebody with, but I could drink that one in the morning. Are you ready with the next one?
Whenever you are.
I have to cleanse my palate. Okay, I'm ready for the next one. Thanks, Steve. Okay. This one smells different. This one's hot. This one's hot. And this one's a little more bitter than the other one. I like it, but it's a little bit more bitter. So I think that would go on number 2 right now. Although I've only had 2. So that would be the second one. For now, you're number 2. Let's see, he's bringing me the next one. So while you're sitting here with me, watching me drink these coffees, whew, go ahead and tell me where you're from. Hit the subscribe button, hug the like button, all that kind of stuff, and talk to me. I'm afraid I'm going to drool all over myself with these coffees. This one is really strong, but it's even more bitter than the last one. So I'm going to put it 3rd. So far they're in order. What'd you do, Steve? Did you guess what I'd like? So one of these coffees, I'll just tell you the titles of these coffees, but I'll read about them later. One is called Abide Coffee. It was the first coffee I talked about on my channel. It was a coffee I chose as like my first NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month. My first NaNoWriMo experience. It was my coffee of that Nano. It was like 2018, and it's Abide Coffee, and I'll talk to you more about that one. Another one is called Death Wish Coffee, and it's just a totally appropriate name for a penny writing session. And the other one is called, excuse me, I got the hiccups now, Criminal Coffee, and I'll talk to you more about that later. I've never tried Criminal Coffee. All right. This one's hot. Okay. This one isn't as strong. But it also isn't as bitter. So I really like strong coffee, but there's a balance. You can make it really strong and not bitter. So I am going to say that this one is number 1. And then, yes. Okay, do you have the mark so you know which ones are which? He's not going to even tell me. I'm not going to know till the very end which one is the winner. So it's between Abide Coffee, Death Wish Coffee, Criminal Coffee, and then one that I home roasted, which is probably the last one. But okay, so this is number 4. That's last place. I really like coffee. So he's going to also bring me a cup of whatever I chose for number 1. As we just sit here waiting. So as we're sitting here, if you have the ability, we'll play a game. So Penny, like I told you, she's kind of psychic. She can see death coming, but that's really all she can see. So I like to, when I'm doing a Penny launch, hold on just a second. That's number 3. Oh, you want to take 2 too? Okay. And this is number 1. Can you bring me a cup of number 1?
Yep.
Thank you. I love coffee. So Penny is kind of psychic. She can see death coming. So I like to play little tiny psychic games to test how psychic people are when they're watching the show. And the first person I see that answers, or if nobody can answer because like they're driving or whatever, I'll check later. So you can even try this too if it's in the replay. But I want you to guess. Well, you can't guess because you'll see the answer. I want you to guess purple or pink. Which color am I thinking about right now? Purple or pink? And I will write that down. And I'll give Steve a second to get back with my coffee. I don't know which one it is. This is number 1, right? Still here.
Yes.
So it's strong. I think it could be actually, it's good, but I think it could be actually better if it was a little, if like I made it with more grounds or less water. That would be really good.
Taste them again?
No, I'm good. I'm good. He's trying not to tell me with his eyes what it is. Okay, so if you guessed purple, then you're pretty psychic because that's the color I chose was purple because of my hair. It's kind of a giveaway. So if you're just looking at me and you're like, oh, I don't know, you could guess that one. Okay. So I'll tell you which one of the copies won at the end. Yes. See, I have to have notes or I'm just going to go off. Okay. Which coffee do you think I will choose? Yes, that's a great one. Tell me which coffee you think I'm going to choose, and we'll see if you get it right at the very end. All right, I got to take a deep breath because coffee and just being on live with you guys gets me so excited, and I start talking really, really fast and really clumsily. My last launch, I had guest speakers on, so it was really, this one's really fun too, but that one was really fun because people would come on and talk, and it would give me a break to calm down and drink my water and not act like a complete psycho because I'm so excited to be here. Okay, I'll put that down. So maybe you won't have to hear me like drinking the whole time, except for when he brings me my next cup of coffee. So to calm myself down, one of the things I like to do is read. So I will read from the first one we're going to read from is Grounded. And it's just an excerpt, and it's right sort of in the middle of the book. So I will read it to you. Let's see if I can read slowly, slower than I can talk, because I get a little silly. Janice continued. The last few weeks, shortly after you arrived, tension spiked. I don't understand why. Things have pressurized intensely in every area of my life. Terry's derailing rapidly. Jack's asking for more of my attention. Then there's Ken. His acting is off. He runs off every Wednesday and pretends it's no big deal, like he's fishing. Jokes that it's his version of therapy. I'm not buying it. He's deep in troubled waters. I frowned at my breakfast. If what I'd witnessed was Ken's act, what was his genuine self like? I shivered to think of it. It wasn't my place to reveal my own judgments about Terry, Jack, or Ken. Janice hadn't asked. I desperately hoped she wouldn't. I wasn't good at honesty if I also needed to tenderfoot around people's feelings. Tact has never been my specialty. That's one reason I often opt for invisibility. My primary concern was Janice's timeline, the last few weeks, shortly after I arrived. Was the cycle starting already? Shrugging off the foreboding that was building within me, I dove back into my breakfast. It was the holiday season after all. Life was a roller coaster this time of year. Maybe it had nothing to do with me. A girl could pretend, couldn't she? Janice said something about threats against the shop that caught my attention. I risked a glance at her worried yet cheerful face. I've talked to the other shop owners. They've received the same calls. The police know about them. I guess that's all I can do about that. I can't risk Terry and Ken even suspecting Jack and me. Not that there is a Jack and me. Her last statement faded to a hush. I'd missed something. What do prank calls have to do with Ken and Terry? Janice took a drink of her creamy coffee. Oh, nothing. I'm just more paranoid than I need to be. If someone vandalizes the shop, the police would take my security feed. They could notice the timestamp discrepancies. I don't want to cast a shadow on Jack's reputation by saying he was there, and that's why I changed the video. The police are bound to ask. She was right. They would ask. Jack's your delivery guy. If everything between you guys is as innocent as you say, what does it matter if he was at the shop? Janice took another sip before placing her cup on the table. Things are innocent, and they'll stay that way. Jack's always been a good friend. Until his wife disappeared a few months ago, our bond was one of consolation and mutual understanding. That doesn't mean that's how everyone else will see it. Small towns have big gossips. Boy, did I know that. More than my share of small towns chased me out of their limits. I still didn't think Janice had much to worry about as she... Let me back up. I didn't think Janice had as much to worry about as she thought. She was the apple of Main Street's eye, the tender-hearted shopkeeper with the terrible family situation. It might get rocky if her flirtation with Jack hit the streets, but she'd skate through it. The town's dislike of Ken would see to that. I was about to say so, to encourage her, when Janice dabbed at a small spill from her coffee cup. Having captured my distracted mind, her coffee was now all I could think about. There, winking at me from Janice's beige coffee cup, was the very thing I dreaded the most. Forming from the leftover foam of her whipped topping, a perfectly shaped raven floated on her beverage. I choked on my waffle. I love the raven.
don't send them out of recording tab, do you?
I'm back. Can you guys hear me? No? Let's see if I can get this sound to work. Can you hear me now? Yay! Okay, we're back. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. It's a good thing I had coffee. And now Steve's going to bring me my winning coffee so I can drink some more and calm down because that was horrible. Oh, goodness. Oh, technology. Yay! Thank you, Steve. So this is the winning one?
Yes.
I'm still trying to guess what the winning one was. He's going to put it down here, but I'm not going to look. So first I want to show you my really cool cup. This is a little bit of a spoiler because, as I told you, Penny moves around from town to town because of her gift. And in the next book, the book that's currently in editing, this is one of the places where she works. Isn't it the cutest cup? I hope you guys can see it. It says Delish Mode, and it's got a cinnamon roll. So cute. So cute. Okay. Let's get back to the fun instead of sitting around watching nothing happen. That was really fun. So I'm going to read you the back of the coffees because one of the coffees was Death Wish coffee. And it's actually an instant coffee, and it comes in a package like this. You can buy it for your coffee maker, and it even has little pods and stuff. But this is how I get it. This is my favorite instant coffee. In fact, in the morning, if I just cannot even wait for coffee or I'm running out the door, this is what I drink. And the back of it says, "Get lifted instantly, the world's strongest coffee." Ever been at a cruising altitude of 35,000 feet and thought, wow, I could use a strong cup of coffee? Whether you're on a plane, train, road trip, or spaceship, our single-serve packets of dark roast deliver a no-fuss caffeine fix. Formulated in 2018 for NASA, this is the very drink that astronauts drank on the International Space Station. So it's out of this world strong. That's Death Wish coffee. And that was one of the coffees. I don't know if that's one of the winners. So Death Wish is one of the coffees that I tried. And then another one was me making my own coffee. And I will show you guys a video of that a little bit later. But for now, because we had that huge space of time where it wasn't working, I'm going to go on and read to you from Frosted, which is the second story in the box set. So look, I was so clever this time. I put tabs in it. I'm so disorganized. Okay. So this is actually book 1.5. So it's a short version of, it's a short book compared to the rest of the pennies. And in the hardback box set collection, I've used large print fonts because I have some friends who are either older and can't see, or some that have learning difficulties, and the large font makes it easier for them to read. So if you're watching and you know that, just know I did this for you because you would know. Okay. Georgie took her chin in his hands and kissed her tenderly on the cheek. It was nice to see two kind people find each other. From the looks of it, their relationship wasn't new, but it was still in the strange stage of bashfulness. Georgie didn't seem to know where to place his hands. In return, Mary responded to his soft pecks on the cheek with unintentional coyness. I couldn't help but cheer for this couple I didn't really know. They had what all the movies tried to imitate, togetherness. I sighed. A gloom lighted on my own lack of relationship. Spades, catching the shift in my mood, weaved his thin body between my ankles, trying to cheer me up. I took one last peep at the couple and instantly wished I hadn't. There, puddling in the snow, was the melting form of two ravens, one for each of the lovebirds, reminding me the clock was ticking. Oh, come on, I huffed, much, much louder than I intended. Guilt exploded in my expostulation. If I hadn't stopped in Hobbs, I let the thought slip away. There was no use in playing what ifs. If not Hobbs, it would have been some other place, some other people. My stalker prey stopped embracing and shot stunned stink eyes at the mudroom door. I retreated to the shadows, certain I'd been seen. I paced frantically. Spade screeched at the as I very nearly trampled him. I turned on the bedroom light, decided its glow made my peeping all the more obvious, and shut it off again. There was no way to explain away my intrusion, and no possible future where I told Georgie and Mary what I'd seen, let alone what the cursed birds meant. Why does everything have to die? I whined to Spades. The cat was still angry at me for tromping about the small space without thought to his well-being. So if you didn't catch that, thank you, Lauren. If you didn't catch that, Spades is Penny's cat, and he is very opinionated, and he sometimes comes to the rescue, which is so fun to write, especially since the villain in the stories is the Raven. I love having a cat like kind of counter him. It's really, really, it's fun to do. So the next coffee that I'm going to read to you guys is the Abide coffee. That's the one that was my coffee for Nano in 2018. They used to operate close to where I live, but I think they've since moved to Tennessee. So I'm just going to read you the back. This brew, I prefer dark roast. So this is their dark roast version, and it's called the Dark Side Blend, which I love because I love Star Wars. And their motto is love people through coffee. And this is a French roast blend that is out of the galaxy. One of my silly favorite things about Abide coffee is this little clip that comes with their bags to help you reseal it. It's just super cute. It's got a little steamy coffee cup on it. I don't know. It's the little things, right? It's the cute little things. So the back of it says, by purchasing a bag of Abide coffee, you support a small family-owned business, your local community, and families around the world. Abide Coffee Roasters is a family-owned and operated small business established in 2016 with a mission to love people through coffee from seed to cup. So I'm going to skip down a little bit. They for every coffee that's bought, they donate $1 to people in need where they live to help housing and assist victims of human slavery, domestic violence, and families and veterans on the verge of homelessness. So, I mean, you're going to have coffee, and it's really good coffee, and help your community and help these people. That's awesome. They also transparently source their coffee from fair trade and direct traders with people who help coffee farmers produce exceptional coffees. They pay a higher price per pound for fair and direct trade because it supports sustainable economic and environmental practices. So that's one of the reasons I love Abide coffee, besides that it's delicious. I actually ran into Abide coffee. I met them for the first time when I went to a cinnamon roll shop, which kind of inspires my love of cinnamon rolls. Yeah, isn't it a cute clip? Yes, supporting small businesses is the best. So, and especially when the small business supports people in need, that's just a bonus. So that's Abide Coffee. You can look them up under Abide Coffee, just like that online. And I think they live in Tennessee now, but they used to live out here by me, but alas, no more. Okay, so that we read about Death Wish coffee and about Abide coffee. And now I'm going to show you a little video of me roasting my own coffee beans because it's one of my favorite things to do, but I only do it really in the winter because it gets very smoky and it's very hot. So here we go. If it works. So that whole process of making coffee beans, roasting them takes about 20 minutes. So I sped it up to like 2.5 minutes because nobody wants to sit there and watch me make coffee for 20 minutes. Besides me, because I know what's coming at the end of it. It's really fun. The shaking is really fun. I just put on a podcast and I'm listening to it as I'm making my beans. It gets really smoky. You got to make sure the fan is going, but it is so worth it. It tastes so good when it's done. And I like to actually grind it if I can, if I have time, with a hand grinder. I don't know. It just makes the experience more, I don't know, fun, but maybe that's just me being snobby about coffee. And speaking of coffee, I'm going to read to you our last coffee, in the 4 coffee challengers. This is Criminal Coffee. This is actually a coffee brand which I've never had before. Today was the first time I was tasting it. And it is like the business child of Stephanie Harlow, who is a YouTuber who talks about true crime. And she's on another show called Crime Weekly. And this is the dark roast version called Agent X. And the back says, Criminal Coffee's flagship blend brings together unexpected flavors of chocolate, lemon, and toasted nuts with a creamy cocoa finish at the end. Being unexpected is Agent X's specialty. Like our crafty heroine, this roast is deep and dark, holding many secrets and surprises that are sure to delight and energize. And on the back of the bags is the QR code, but that takes you to learn more about Agent X, and you actually get to follow stories. So I'm like, how perfect is that for this launch? But also, every time you buy one of their beans or grounds, they save up this fund, and a portion of your proceeds goes to organizations dedicating to combat crime. And on Crime Weekly, they actually tell you which cases they dedicated it to, or which facilities they've dedicated the money to help with things like DNA testing. Did you know there's like thousands, probably beyond thousands of just DNA kits just sitting on the side that are waiting to be tested because there's not money to fund them. So they help do that with their coffee. And I thought, that's amazing. Crime, mystery, dark roast. Yep. Like I said, I really love coffee. And that was our last contender. So it was Death Wish Coffee, Abide Coffee, Criminal Coffee, and my own coffee. I'm actually wondering if I had read the back of Criminal Coffee, if I could guess which one it was, because I thought one smelled really chocolatey. My husband's making a face at me. He doesn't want to give it away. Okay, so I'm going to do our last reading. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you feel like it. Hit the like button, leave a nice comment. Actually, I hit the like button. Just give it a little high five, knuckle it, be nice to it. Anyway, and don't forget that on the pinned comment is a scavenger hunt where you can win a signed hardback and whatever coffee I've chosen for the night. You get a copy of that too. And that goes for people watching the replay as well. So don't think you're left out if you're just here for round 2 of this exciting night with coffee and Sarah. So I'm going to read to you from Crushed, which is the last book in the box set, just an excerpt. And I think this was in like chapter 11, because I like to bring you to all like the little dangerous places in my stories. Okay. The last musical clue suggested heat. I'm going to give you a clue. It's called, the last clue was, it's getting hot in here. And I think it's just going to say that right now. But the last musical clue suggested heat. It's getting hot in here was wrapping up. The hint before it still had me stumped. Juicy? What did that mean? The only thing I could think to link it was the smoothies, the smoothie bar, and maybe Watts. Perhaps even Shannon's booster blend. The second song had me thrown. The clock was ticking, and I needed to figure out what was going on. Shannon held the door to the dry sauna open. Kick off your sneakers, she said. With one foot up and one on the tile, Shannon removed her own footwear with the grace of a, not my grace, with the grace of an athletic flamingo. I obeyed, thankful I'd rubbed peppermint oil on my feet earlier that morning. At least my after-workout socks wouldn't stink up the warm room. Come on, Shannon said. The rooms are almost soundproofed, so we can continue our chat about the mysterious TC. My sudden blush was hidden by the extreme heat of the sauna stall. The scent of cedar permeated my pores as they opened and began gushing sweat. How in the world was this good for you? Dehydrating, yes. Healthy, I had serious doubts. Shannon shut the frosted glass door and flipped the vacancy sign over. No one will bug us now. She laid out a towel on the wooden bench across from mine and sat. With one knee bent and one stocking foot up on the bench, Shannon leaned in to listen to me. I wasn't so sure what to say. So, tell me, she prodded. A thudding came from the stall beside us, saving me from spilling my thoughts onto Shannon. She frowned. As the racket increased, Shannon grew more and more agitated. Goodness, she exclaimed. This is ridiculous. These rooms are supposed to be safe havens of healing, not your personal booty booths. She reprimanded the noisemakers next door. I flinched. Gross, I said. Do people really do that in here? Shannon winked. More than you want to know. That's why smart people always use a towel to sit on. I peeked around me. I hadn't thought of using a towel until I'd seen Shannon use one. I felt grimy and dirty. The need to cleanse myself grew heavy as I imagined all the sticky sweat merging with more unseemly liquids. I rubbed at my forearms with my palms, trying to remove the thought. The banging grew louder and more obvious. Shannon flung open the door and stormed to the next stall. I stood shaking, still creeped out at the thought of naked bodies in the public room. My heart rocketed in my throat when I heard Shannon's shattering scream. Yeah, and that's from Crushed. So I've read an excerpt from all 3 books inside a Raven Remix, which when you buy the hardback just for the month of November, if you email me the receipt, you get a signed, let's see if I have one. Yes, look, I'm all prepared. You get a signed bookmark. That's what this is called, made just for this book. And it will only be going out with people who've bought a hardback or in giveaways like this. Anyway, so are you ready to see which coffee I chose? Okay. Are you going to announce it or am I going to announce it?
Oh, you're going to announce it.
Okay. So is it 4 the last one? 4, okay.
It's in order.
Okay, so I'm going to read it backwards.
Okay.
So 4th was Death Wish, which I thought was going to be really high up in it because I really like Death Wish when I am busy and running about, the world. I rely on Death Wish, so I thought it'd be number 1. Number 3 was the home roast. And I could tell that was the home roast because it tasted a little bit burnt. But I thought it was actually the Death Wish. So at least I wasn't last. These are still my favorites, but it wasn't last. So that's good, right? Number 2 was Abide Coffee, which makes this one, the one that I thought tasted chocolatey, Criminal Coffee. Criminal Coffee is now my coffee of 2022 and probably most of 2023. This is my official NaNoWriMo coffee of the year is Criminal Coffee. Look at that. I can drink coffee and fight crime at the same time. I'm awesome. You can be awesome too. So if you win the scavenger hunt on the 22nd, I'll let you know who's won the scavenger hunt. I'll alert the person via email. Do the scavenger hunt. The winner will be picked at random and you'll receive a signed hardback of Raven Remix and your very own alias blend of Criminal Coffee. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm so sorry about the technical issues in the middle of it. I had a blast. For all of those of you watching the replay, thank you so much for swinging by and giving me your time. Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment. Do all the things to show me that you had a good time. And go over to your favorite bookish place and get the ebook. It's only 99 cents for 3 stories. I'll catch you later. Bye. And now I sit here awkwardly because I'm looking for the right button. Bye.